because today is actually International Pillow Fight Day, and what perfect topic to discuss on International Pillow Fight Day is playful parenting, because actually one of the things that we prescribe to parents in our peaceful parenting programs is to have pillow fights with your kids.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be really cool if we came and really not get technical, but just have some fun sharing some of the fun things that we've done with kids and the difference that it's made. Like, how did it work in terms of getting kids back on track? What a difference has it made in various situations? So who would like to share something first?
I don't know.
Oh, I love pillow fights, noodle pool noodle fights, any sort of roughhousing stuff. You know, boys or girls, it's all really important, I think, for getting kids back on track, getting us out of our seriousness, serious parenting as well, and bringing them back to these wonderful, compliant little human beings that they are capable of being.
Yeah, exactly. We actually broke the bed one time doing our wrestling. The whole center of the bed just collapsed in the middle.
Yeah, I haven't quite gone that bad, but I think we're missing about 3 slats in my bed. Underneath, from, jumping on them, because we used to also have the what do you call them, bunk beds. So we were in the same room, but they were in bunk beds, and they used to, of course, dive bomb from the top of the bunk bed onto my bed.
That would have been heaps fun.
It was heaps fun, particularly if you're laying there, and I position myself where they're going to land, but sort of out of the danger area, sort of thing. And then but when it goes crack, you kind of go, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that one. Let's do a different one. We can still,
So just so that everyone's clear, Pamela has girls, Daniela has a boy, and I have a mixture of girls and boys. And so this is for all kids. All kids love roughhousing, being playful. They actually love the physical contact. They love the laughter. It just builds such an amazing feeling, between the adults and the kids. And even for us adults, if we're feeling too tense, a bit of a pillow fight or a noodle fight is just really brilliant for releasing our tension too, so that we don't take out our tension onto our children, because they actually don't deserve that. So let's share some stories. Daniela, you said you had a story to share about playfully parenting.
So just on the different fights and whatever, fun fights, that is. We haven't done it for a little while, but we still do it. Is big sock fights. So like it's just so amazing. Like he normally asks for it after a while. When you just, if he must be feeling something or other, and that connection through the sock fights, and it's normally like him and his dad against me. Very rarely is it me with somebody else. It's always, the girl against the boys type thing. It feels like, it's in fun in any case. But it is so much fun, and so it's like a war zone with socks, and there's like battles and everything going on.
So tell us how you do sock fights, Daniela.
So we literally just empty out all the socks onto the bed. We have like a 5-second rule, or however many seconds, and that then we
got like a hungry hippos type.
Yeah, like a hungry hippo.
Gotta gather all the socks.
Yeah, and normally like my son grabs like them all, and I'm left with maybe 2, and then I have to wait until they flick them over. So it's like our bed is in the middle of the room, and we're on either side of the bed.
And what are you throwing socks at each other, or
Yeah, we're throwing socks at each other and dodging down and commandering around, you know, the little
so the
ankles.
socks, are they rolled up like they're folded up when you put them in the drawer? Is it so they're like
Yeah,
balls?
they're already folded into like a ball thing.
Perfect.
That's how I
See, look,
fold
see,
them.
That
so
is
that is
cool.
perfect for any family, because you don't need to go to the shops to buy anything. You don't need particular sized pillows. It's actually a good size for everybody.
Yeah.
And brilliant. I mean, that's better than foam balls or other sorts of balls that you might have to buy from the shops. You
Yeah.
just use the socks that you already have.
Yeah, the only thing that we
Fantastic.
do lose is sometimes like they'll go behind the cupboard or whatever, and so it's, you know, we don't often move the cupboard, so it takes, you know, a few, you know, weeks or whatever until we can get the socks behind there if they do. That's the only downfall, but it's no big deal, honestly. It's actually a lot of fun, and we all get involved.
Yeah. I love that because yeah. I love that because also when you've got really little kids, socks are something that they could manage to throw too, because I've watched where there's been pillow fights, and there's been I'm not quite sure how old, but like around that 1 year at walk or crawl yet, but just could sit. And they had their own little pillow. And even though they weren't quite in the pillow fight, being on the outside and just waving their own pillow around, they were just delighted by what was going on. And they were laughing along with all the carry on, even though they couldn't participate and it wouldn't have been safe for them to participate. But with socks, for a little one like that, their own socks, they would be able to throw them, so they could actually feel like they're joining in.
Exactly. And then when you've got all the sound effects that goes on with it, it's like, you know, sometimes we'll have the like we'll do it like with our voices, you know, like the Rambo song or the Commando song. You know, very animated. That would just, you know, my son is really good at that. So am I, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The more you sort of amp it up, the more, you know, the more sort of fun it is, you know, like when you get hit, I mean, you're getting hit by a sock, but you know, if you over dramatize the fact that you just got hit by a sock,
Exactly.
it increases the, you know, the fun factor.
Absolutely.
I just sort of realized that socks are so versatile when it comes to playful
You
parenting.
can put them on your ears when they don't want to put their socks on, make a little game out of it. Oh, they're not supposed to be on my ears? Oh, where are they supposed to be put?
Well,
we've done that lots of times.
Well, I had a time when Bilal was probably about 2, and he didn't want to go to preschool or childcare because I was working. And so he didn't want to put his shoes and socks on. I'm not sure if my streaming is still working here.
You're good.
But
Yeah, good.
I put the socks on my hands, and the socks had a conversation with each other. Oh,
yeah.
want to put me on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
good.
another good
Okay.
one.
And then the other sock goes, and then the other sock goes, no, he doesn't want to put me on either. And it just gets the laughter. I had the shoes and socks on, and we were walking there, and it was the end of the pushback for going.
Yeah.
So,
And I love
yeah,
how that works so easily. Like, you know, it, you know, playful parenting, it diffuses the tension that they've got, and then, you know, can create in us as well. You know, let's face it. And when that laughter joins in, like is part of it, it really just goes away, dissolves. And what was once, you know, such a big hassle doesn't become that. And it becomes quite easy for kids just to go on their merry way. All they want is just to have fun, really, and not the boring stuff.
Yeah, that's it. You know, particularly, you know, around the age group. I mean, a child is not going to come to you and say, hey, Mum, I'm struggling with this at school. They're going to say, Mum, can you play with me?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
You know, they intuitively know or innately know that, you know, the importance of play and how beneficial it is to, you know, sort of unravel these tensions.
Yeah.
For them. Yeah.
And as well, like us as adults, we've forgotten, like a lot of us have forgotten the importance of play. Like even if it's not, playful, like even if it's not around parenting, but just being jovial and lighthearted. Even with our spouses or our friends. I mean, I know with Catherine we have lots of fun times, like just being silly sometimes, or joking around and things, and it's it loosens things up.
Yeah. I had a bit of a moment last night because we went out to a restaurant for iftar last night,
I
and
heard.
and the girls like to there's an area that they like to play in, and there's sort of like it's not a fenced in area, but it's the I don't know if there's wooden, anyway, let's just say it's a little fenced in area, let's just say that, but it's short enough for me to be able to sort of have one leg on either side and sort of run around. So like it was, if I know it's probably terrible to be visual, but the thing is you can see me from the window from the restaurant. So I'm like, oh, there's some very serious people in there, iftar and everything. And here I am, running around pretending that we're playing chasey type thing, and you can't catch me type thing. And then, I just for a few minutes I went, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Or, I'm just feeling a little embarrassed. Or, oh, no. My kids, because they were feeling a little tense.
Yeah.
We had been a little tense because, things have just been a little stressful sort of in our household with some things going on. So, yeah, I seized the opportunity and, went and did that. So that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And it's not just for young ones. I recall one time I had a particular teenager, I won't specify which one, was being a bit mouthy because he was a bit tense. And I chased him around the front yard with a pool noodle, basically saying, "Don't talk to me like that," and whacking him. And it breaks the tension because if they're showing us that sort of behavior, it shows that there's something going on for them, that they're feeling tense, and you break the tension, you can get everything back on track, and then they become more their respectful selves again, alhamdulillah.
And it happens so quickly, subhanallah. Like it's amazing, kids just move through whatever is happening for them so quickly when they feel supported. And
that's right.
And with this play, it's like, mum's got me, or dad's got me, and they're having fun with me. I'm feeling loved, and it just allows anything else to just sort of disappear, which is
and you don't need anything, to be playful, right?
That's
Actually,
right.
Aside from just getting over yourself.
That's right. That's what I was about to say, was that the challenge for most parents is to be playful in the first place.
Exactly.
But I think what we've discovered is that human beings are innately playful, that it's all the stories and stresses and everything that's going on that takes us away from being naturally playful. I mean, you should see our admin meetings. Like here we got the leadership of the Fitrah doing this panel discussion. And sometimes we laugh for half an hour through our whole meeting. So we have playful too. But the point is, if you don't have access to socks, if you don't have access to pillows, or you don't have access to pool noodles, or any of those sorts of things, you can still just be playful. There was another time when Bilal was little, he'd broken off a third of his tooth, and it got infected, and it came to the point where they were going to have to remove the tooth. But because there'd been an abscess for so long and it was causing damage to the adult teeth underneath, they said they had to get it out quickly. But if they did it under general, that'd be a 3-week wait, right? So he did it. He was amazing, very brave, and they were very good, and they got it out very quickly just with a local anesthetic. Can you imagine that, holding a 2-year-old still long enough to rip a tooth out? And we're talking about not a wobbly tooth. We're talking about this tooth was still solidly in. But a week later, we were going to have to go back to the same place. Now, you can imagine after a child has been through that, what the association might be like with that place. And so, because I knew about playful parenting, what I did was we reversed the roles, and he got to be the dentist, and he got to play around in my mouth, and he got to be on my knees, and I was the dentist chair going up and down and taking him up and down. And we did a whole lot of laughing. It wasn't much fun when he was playing with his grotty fingers in my mouth, pretending to be the dentist. There are some times when playful parenting can be a bit icky, but the point was when we went back to the hospital to go back for the checkup, he was happy as anything. There was no fear, residual fear there. The playfulness helped him just let go of that experience and be okay with it, and went in very easily, had the checkup. They were happy with him, and he left really easily. We didn't have any drama or anything. And that's just how powerful it is to use play to help children through their challenges.
Yeah. That's such a good point, that you said there, because I remember like we used to have, the kids have the doctor's bag and whatever, and there was a time where he'd always take my blood pressure, because he saw his grandmother very sick at one stage, and so he that was his way of dealing with it, just like Catherine, you said with Bilal. And when my mum was really sick in hospital, what happened is that he took in his doctor's bag to the hospital. She was in a critical way, but that we weren't normally supposed to take anything in, but she was not in a good way. So the nurses said, "We're going to let you in. We're going to let you do it. Just make sure you disinfect it on the way out." So that's what we did. But he was the doctor, and he was like taking my mum's, vital signs and all that sort of stuff. And he had the nurses just, in tears, because they'd never seen something like that. But it helped him process what was actually going on with his grandma. And, it was such a powerful thing, not only for us, but also for him as well to, he always remembers that, and he doesn't want to throw that thing out because of, it was with his nonna and whatnot. And yeah, it really helps to make things easier for them, to those challenges, subhanallah. Even like, with playful parenting, like a different sort of scenario, like the after school blues. I don't know about anyone here, but I certainly can vouch for those after school blues. And,
it can sometimes feel like that they've just been winding them up at school or something and then just letting them go after.
Yeah.
Like in the car, it's like, oh my goodness, what is going on with the two of you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're ready to explode, because school's a very artificial environment for them, and especially when they're younger, they have to sit still and pay attention a lot longer than is actually really acceptable for their younger age. And so I had the same thing at one point, and what we just did was every afternoon after school was a pool noodle fight to diffuse, and it worked. And eventually the pool noodle fights weren't needed. So it's not the sort of thing where you go, oh no, now I'm going to have to do that forever. It kind of, when they don't need it anymore, they know, and they stop asking for it. And then what was interesting is then one day he had a day where he wasn't feeling so great, so he just brought the noodles to me, and he was just saying to me, I need a bit of defusing. Can we do a noodle fight?
Mashallah.
So they're kids are really intelligent around what they need. We're the ones that just miss all the cues, unfortunately, and get so serious about life that we forget how important it is to be playful, and how powerful being playful really is, especially in resolving fears, in getting through difficult situations. There's going to be times in every family where there'll be tense times, and if you can add a bit of play in there, it just removes that tension, and it helps children realize it's going to be okay. Because They don't understand, but they feel the tension, and then they take on that tension too, and then their behavior becomes off track. And if everybody is already tense at that time, of course, then it becomes about, I can't deal with you right now. You're pushing all my buttons. How dare you? I'm getting stressed out right now. And it all becomes about their behavior, but their behavior is actually a symptom of all the tension.
Yeah.
So the playfulness breaks the tension for them, but it also breaks it for us. I
Yeah.
think for a tense parent, a pool noodle is the best thing. Cut into thirds. Thirds is the perfect length, because you don't hit them obviously with it, but you can hit the sofa, you can hit something else and pretend that you've missed them, to really get the out of you, because you don't want to put full bore into them. But the thing is, even if you did, not that I'm suggesting you should, but you know how sometimes in an angry moment we really are not in our right mind. The pool noodles don't hurt. They make a fantastic thwack noise, which is very satisfying, but they don't hurt. And because the sort of material they're made out of, the air resistance actually slows down. It's almost like the way hydraulics work. That the faster you try to hit with it, the more resistance there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, really important. And if anybody is not feeling like a playful parent, we really encourage you to join our Peaceful Parenting program, so we can help you rediscover your playfulness. Because once upon a time, you were all very playful.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. Exactly. And it's
So
amazing how easy it is to get back to that. Like once we let go of that thinking that is blocking us from, I know my son goes like, "Mom, can you just stop? You're being embarrassing now."
yes,
Oh yeah, I can't. I
Oh,
forgot.
Don't you
Not
love it
everyone is
when
like,
don't you love it when they start using the tools on you?
yeah,
Like the tables have turned, like, like go and get the pool noodles because mum's a little a little tense, or mum, you gotta worry, flurry.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
yeah,
It's really funny. Yeah.
they're amazing. Children are absolutely amazing, and if we can be more playful, we actually see that more too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And one thing I've certainly noticed is when like the tensions are the high, and then you've created a playful space for them, particularly going to school or whatever, then my day is awesome after that too. Like
Yes,
it's really set me up for a fantastic day, because I've just had this awesome little play session with
that's
my kids.
right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much for us to connect with them, like on a playful level. And they go, for example, like school, they go off to school in a good mood, and we have a good day as well. And that's a bonus rather than going off, stressed or whatever, and us stressed as well, until they get home to see what mood they're going to arrive in. And they might arrive back not in a not so good mood, but at least you can connect and diffuse that again. That's beautiful.
And I
Absolutely.
think once you realize that, you stop getting so stressed about their moods,
Yeah.
because you realize that there's actually a fun solution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely saw that, like in my own journey, from what I was once, where it was. I mean, I was always, you know, a connected parent, but my thinking was still there. And once that thinking let go, like once I let go of that thinking, like it just was, that peacefulness in the whole home and that playfulness just bloomed like you couldn't even imagine. And I didn't even know like when, but I just realized at one stage, like, yeah, I'm not having any of those thoughts like I used to before. That was powerful.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Alhamdulillah.
bedtime is usually another one that's, a bit of a challenge. And
But
so
most people think that if you hype them up at bedtime, that is going to keep them up.
yes, exactly.
So do you want to share how it's the opposite, Pamela?
Well, a tool that I use is that particularly, well, it's more so when I'm making the bed, not necessarily at bedtime, but sometimes I am making the bed before we go to bed. But they really love, we pretend that we're making pancakes. So of course they start off with actually standing up on the bed, and I'm like, okay, so what are the ingredients of this pancakes? We've got our imaginary bowl. Okay, we need some eggs. All right, who's going to be my egg? So they lay in a little ball on the bed, and I have to try and bounce the bed to crack them open. Right? That's my egg, and then I can now I sometimes they're stubborn eggs, I tell you. Or the egg starts to crack because they've lost grip, and then it's like, oh no, I'm not cracking yet. I'm not cracking yet. So, they really love it. And then, then I'll, use them in a creative way of, pouring in the flour, or sprinkling in the salt, or pouring in the milk, or whatever, whatever, you use making pancakes. And then, of course, they're laying on the bed, and I've got to mix it all up, right? Got to mix these pancakes up. So of course, there's no tickling. We don't encourage tickling with playful parenting, but you can certainly, sort of do a rub around type of thing over them. And so then we do that, and then okay, so now we've got to pour those pancakes, and then the making of the bed part of it is that each layer, like the sheet or whatever, is a pancake, and then you've got to put blueberries or strawberries on there, or who's going to be the jam, or who's going to be the whipped cream. So they'll roll over the bed, or or they'll I need to push them over the bed or something to to be the cream, and then each layer, and then now I've got to eat those pancakes, right? I'm going to eat them. I'm going to gobble those little pancakes up. So yeah. So just things like that, and that has many times, like I've deliberately messed up the bed sometimes just so we can do it.
Yeah.
Like there's tension sort of before bed. Yeah. Or another thing, it's not necessarily playful, but another thing is, as we're sort of as they're laying in bed, we'll say good night to all of our body parts, and thank you for, good night toes, thank you for wriggling today, or whatever. You come up with something. Thank you feet for allowing me to run and walk. Like it's almost like a gratitude thing as well. So it's instilling that sort of gratitude mindset, as it were, but also it's a tricky little relaxation technique, because there's being aware, and as you're coming up into the body, the whole body, making your way up the body relaxes. So thank you legs, thank you knees, thank you hips for all the wiggles that you've done today, or something. You just get each time it's different.
Yeah.
And then it's just amazing. You just kisses, and then within minutes they're off to snooze fest.
Yeah.
And just a tiny bit of play can actually just keep them going. So I have my grandson here, and sometimes I'm trying to get work done, and one day, I don't know why I decided to do it, but I pretended that I'd put an egg on his head, and then I went like that, and then I down his head like that. Doesn't it feel like eggs going down your head? So he really loves that. So sometimes I'm trying to get a little bit of work done and get him to play, but he wants a little bit of connection, and he comes and he goes, can you do the egg thing again on my head? So you just do that a few times, and then he feels connected again, and he goes back and plays with what he's playing with, so I can do a little bit more work. So also, when you're trying to be busy, just stopping to be playful for that moment just helps them reconnect.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't take much effort.
No, really. That's right. Just on making
my kids are obviously making their own fun out there.
Just on making the beds and whatever, as you were talking, Pamela, like in the mornings, like my son is 10 and he still does this. Mom, can you lift the blanket? Like, because when he was younger, he'd hide under the bed as I would, ruffle the bed, ruffle the blanket to, make it all good. And he'd hide under there, and I'd go, "Oh, where's Noah? Oh, I must get this lump out. There's so many lumps in here." And he'd be like, underneath there. And must be I just can't get it out. Let me get the iron. I'll get the iron out and, try and get this lump out. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's Noah Bear, And still today, he's 10 years old. He still likes me to, do the, lift the blanket and run under the bed. And obviously now he's getting taller. So he's like, "Oh, Mum, can you do it again? Because I didn't quite get my toes in," or whatever, And it's quite heavy. It's really fun. And so, as you said, you don't need much at all to be creative or getting their noses.
There might be, sulking on the sofa or something like that, and you sit down and you go, "Oh, there's a really funny lumpy pillow on this sofa. What
You've got to fluff it up. You've got to fluff that pillow up because, make it more comfy."
And this is at the point where they don't want to look at your eyes, and so I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
And then there's little sounds come out, and it's like, "Oh, this pillow makes some weird noises, doesn't it?" And eventually they just can't be angry anymore or anymore. They just come out of whatever mood they're in. Alhamdulillah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we've shared a few ideas. Anyone got anything one last thing you'd like to say around playful parenting before we wrap it up?
Have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun and enjoy those moments.
Yeah.
Because it goes so quickly, but it'll last forever. So have fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Pamela?
Oh, I guess, if you do find it a challenge, definitely come in through the peaceful parenting program, or, reaching out to one of us too. Sorry, 1 second.
They're getting louder and louder in the background. I had to move to the main living area, so I was expecting the same thing to happen for me too, but alhamdulillah, they've been all quiet.
Alhamdulillah.
Just reaching out, because because we all have our different levels of play, and some of us like to be a little more silly than others. We're a little more comfortable about being silly in public, although that was challenged last night for me. But there's a plethora of resources out there to help you along with that as well.
Alhamdulillah. So just so everyone knows, the link isn't ready yet, but I've put here that to just type "interested" in the comments below, wherever it is you happen to be looking at this video, so that we can give you the link, because we have a very special promotion through Ramadan around peaceful parenting, where you actually get access to peaceful parenting from the inside out and peaceful parenting for teens, which I'll be beginning live at the beginning of May after Ramadan is over. So it'll be an opportunity to spend 8 weeks with me live if you've got teenagers that you're parenting, and it's a package deal, but I haven't quite finished the link to give you the link today. But if you are interested, just type "interested," and then that way I can reach out to you and give you the link when the time is when it's all ready. So get access to all of our parenting stuff, and including as a bonus the Parenting the Prophet's Way Summit we did recently in March as well. So you get access to all of it. Alhamdulillah.
Priceless. Absolutely priceless. Wow. Yeah.
Well, this is how we all really, Daniela and I knew each other before, but this is how Pamela and I met. And then, of course, Pamela met Daniela was through learning about this style of parenting. This has connected us. So it is kind of quite awesome that we're the ones doing this discussion, really.
Yeah, it is actually. Subhanallah.
So we weren't fun parents so much. We were very serious. Life was pretty tough. And we learned to be fun parents. And so we learned to be fun and playful. You can learn to be fun and playful too. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
So
Yeah,
on that
come
note,
play with us. Come play with us.
actually, if you ever get the opportunity to do one of our peaceful parenting workshops live, come along, because you'll get an opportunity to have some fun, because we do some fun stuff in the workshops. Alhamdulillah. So on that note, looks like Danielle is getting called away too. This is what it's like when you're a parent, right? In and out. This is just perfect, right? It's just showing it real life in action. It's Sunday afternoon here. So of course, family is wanting attention. Alhamdulillah. So on that note, I think we'll just say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Go and have some fun with your kids
Yes.
and with each other.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Walaikum